Again, I did myself a great disservice by not doing a password that I could remember quite easily. But you know what? That is okay. I'm here just waiting on you guys to pop in. I hope everybody is having a fantastic, awesome, wonderful day. It is Saturday, and I feel like I got a lot done, but I also feel like I slept way too much. So we will see what today brings, because I certainly don't. No idea what today is going to bring as far as an eventful live. Oh, I messed up. It's okay, you're not late. We are going to be talking about plants that are good for cuts. I do have to admit, though, that I don't have any plants. Most of the plants that I found were not in good shape to really show off. Should have done this one maybe later in the year. Jesus loves everyone. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. You can stick around and participate in lives. And then who knows? But right now, I have a moderator. Wow, 11 people. That is so awesome. Okay, so today we're talking about don't leave. You're going to ask to be a moderator, and then you're just going to leave and assume that I'm just going to throw a moderator at you when I don't know you. Guys, it doesn't work that way. Maybe in somebody's lives it does, but not in mine. Okay, today, my friends, we're diving into the world of ethnobotany. I'm not mean, not one bit mean. But if you wanted to be a moderator, you need to get to know the person that you're moderating for. So there's that. Because you got to be able to work with me. And you can ask my moderator, I'm not the easiest person to work with. Like, I'm demanding. Seriously demanding. Okay, but anyway, moderator, I'm going to ask you to fill in all of the bizarre questions that come in, like how old am I? Am I a boy? Am I a girl? All that stuff. Fill that for me. Because I need to focus. Obviously, I'm getting way distracted. So this might mean that they do different things. I could have done more on this, but I've been working on the channel basically all day, and I needed a break. So this could have been a better live, but I do need to give a disclaimer before we get in there. Hi, Sean Combs. So, disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I lost my place. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. So, disclaimer. Yes, disclaimer. First, I'm not a doctor. Okay? I'm not a pharmacist. I can't promise you that you aren't allergic to one of the plants that we are going to be talking about. Many of the plants that we're going to be... So, basically, I don't want you using these plants for medicinal reasons. I hope you're doing well too, Sean Combs. Many of the plants, if any, that I'm talking about are from my area. Well, no, they're not going to be from my area, guaranteed, but some of them will be. If they are, that's great. Another thing to remember is that some of these plants could be endangered, so going out and using them would be bad. So don't do that. But enjoy them, enjoy looking at them, but leave them alone. Sorry, y'all, but this first plant that I'm talking about is only for relieving pain. There are a ton of other plants that will relieve pain, but this is the first one that I saw. And we will come back to that in a bit. It's called a rayless golden head, and it was used by mashing it up and then turning that into a salve and then applying that to the place that got hurt. And it would help relieve the pain. One thing I'm learning is that there are just way too many plants for me to really focus on. So, I'm not going to do that. There are a lot of other plants that are way more important, and we'll come back to some of that. Also, some of the plants that were used, yes, some of these plants, the pain was not used for cuts. It was used for headaches. And we're not covering headaches right now. So I didn't want to go overboard and discuss stuff that I'm not going to be using in this discussion. For now, we're going to jump into plants that are either going to stop your bleeding, and that's where we're going to focus for right now, and it's just going to be really brief. Plantain, this is not... Oh, wait, I skipped. A poultice of yarrow was used by some tribes to stop bleeding. And so what they would do is they would take the leaves, they would crush it up a little bit and stick that on the cuts. Plantain is another plant that was used to stop bleeding. And again, they would crush it up, stick that on. No, I am not talking about the plantain that is in the banana family. Not talking about that. Moving on, these are plants that were used for cuts, rather that stop bleeding or whatever. Canada violet was pulsed and applied to scratches or abrasions. St. John's wort, a tincture of the flowers, was applied for cuts. The root tea of cream wild indigo was used externally on cuts. Also keep in mind that some of these plants are poisonous, and using them in the wrong way can make you sick. It would be mixed with something else and then applied to the skin. I can give you a more, yes, that's what I was trying to say. Are you asking what that is? A tea of wild indigo was also used to wash cuts. A poultice of jewelweed was used for cuts. This is the same plants that you can use against poison ivy. Maypop root was used for cuts, and it was poulticed. Elderberry leaves were poulticed also. American hazelnut bark poultice was applied to cuts. Remember, if you dig up a root, you kill the plant. So, again, we don't want to do that. White pine pitch. This is sticky, like sap that oozes out of the tree. That was poulticed and put on cuts also. Fringe tree. Root bark tea was used as a wash for cuts. And you'll see this a lot in medicine among the Native Americans, where they would brew a tea and then use that tea on maybe pimples. I don't know. White willow. This was also, the bark was also poulticed for cuts. Quaking aspen root, poulticed for cuts. Rattlesnake fern root was poulticed for cuts. And we're going to move on from cuts, and we're going to talk about antiseptic. And I only found a couple of plants, really, that were used for this. A fragrant water lily, a root tea for that was probably as a wash for cuts or wounds, whatever you needed it to be. Barberry, dried leaf tea, same thing. Bearberry is the plant itself can be poisonous, so maybe not use it a super lot, if at all. Wintergreen is another plant that has antiseptic properties. To stop bleeding, some tribes would have used buckbean, which was a plant. They would dry the leaves and use that as a wash. Fragrant water lily, root tea was used as a wash to stop bleeding. And then there should have been a lot more with that one. Maybe I messed up. I thought that was way longer, but it's not. I'm going to try exiting out and going back in. Because I could have swore that I added like a ton of stuff to that. Okay. Well, that's disappointing. We'll see. If not, well, it'll be an early, really early live today. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those days. Okay. So anyway, it is going to be one of those days. And I apologize for that. There are a ton of other plants that are out there. And I'm going to grab my other book. I don't like using this book. Too much. Because it is huge. But we shall survive. Let me just show you. Hello, everybody. Oh, no, I guess not. I'm going to say hello, everybody, but there's nobody here. So the way this... Hi, Soda Tab. How are you? Awesome. Did you get permission or did you just bring them? I'm not asking that. Awesome. This book is a lot more detailed than other books, which is why I sort of don't like it. And it really, really gets awesome. I'm glad to hear it because the way it was looking was not very good. I'm glad. You know, I got this book thinking it'll help me out. But it's not helping me out. So I guess wow, 27 acres of land? That is amazing. Okay, well, I'm glad you stopped by. So these are the books that I used. I'm not... $29. Yeah, over 29 acres of land. That's pretty amazing. There are some really good books out there on edible medicinal plants. I don't know where my stuff went because I thought I had way more than that. I don't know. If I opened up the wrong thing and started dumping into there, that's a possibility too. No. But anyway, I know I did. Because I added... I started today on a project for my family. Taking my grandma's journals and getting them typed up. It's going to be very eye-opening, I think. So we're going to go back to the antiseptic. I did 3 pages today. 2 or 3 pages. I'm not... Problem is, everything is sort of grouped together. So that is something new that I'm doing. I'm not finding what I thought I would find. The words are pretty tiny in this book. and you sort of have to scan it or look through it. Dutchman's pipe has antiseptic properties. It's a viney, woody thing. Yeah, my mind is a little bit everywhere tonight. I apologize. Hello, everybody. Wait, I did. Oh, well. So you can ask questions at this point. I thought I had more material, but I can't find it. Aye. The hardest thing about the medicines is unless you know what you're doing, some of these plants are toxic. Some of these plants have chemicals in them that can interfere with medicines that you're already taking. So going out and just using these plants, probably not a good idea unless you really know what you're doing. Best to stay away from it. But yeah, super excited to go through these journals and start really getting into them. I am typing them up basically as they are. There's no editing. There's no putting in, if grandma said it one way, that's how it's going to be said. I am adding sometimes notes so that people reading this will know, like the younger generation, they'll be able to know if she says that I did this, what that is. Like, I think it was DUC or DUP, was dupe, but what it means is Daughters of Utah Pioneers. So, yeah. What other things throw in with cuts? There is one that mentions scars. So I thought that one might be worth looking into. Because I've never heard of a plant that's good for scars. Now, some of these plants were also used on sores. I'm not finding where it talks about sores or scabs. Scabies? If you're out and about and you need soap, there's even plants that you can use that are soapy. So this is something that I promise we're going to be doing more of, hopefully in the spring. I'm not going to do any more of these in the winter because that's silly. And if I can't have the plants, at least have a picture of them. So that's what I'm looking at doing. I don't know. It's going to be a short live, I think, tonight, which is fine. Carol, didn't you have a meeting at 6:30? Did I freeze up again? Because I froze up yesterday. I hope I didn't. Oh, I guess not, because you did message me. Okay. Yeah. So if you have questions on plants, ask. Basically I've said what I have. I don't like doing that because I feel like if I do that, I end up losing material. I end up shortchanging you guys a little bit. Belladonna, Belladonna, I believe, is imported. Belladonna uses included reducing stomach acid, controlling heart rate, relaxing muscles, and more. And while it has been used as a poison in the past, science today are extracting chemicals from belladonna for use in medicine. And that is something we are seeing a lot more of, is toxins being turned into healing medicine. It is amazing what we're doing. And a lot of stuff there's even plants that you can take internally that will help with bleeding inside the body on top of that. So pretty cool. But I do like this book. But it really gets really fast. Because it'll break down the plants. Like Queen's Anne lace. A pretty good example of that. Different tribes would use a plant for different things. So, the Iroquois would take the roots, and it was for the men, and they would use it for blood disorders. They would also use it for pimples. So there's a lot of different, just, I think what I want to do is look at some of the plants that we talked about. So we're actually going to go look at Plantago major, which is right here. So common plantain, this is a plant that was used for bleeding. But it also has a ton of other uses on top of that. So it starts here. Yeah, it starts here, goes to here, the entire page, and then it jumps to the next page. So there's a lot of stuff. Poultice for bruises and sprains and sores and bee stings. They say they would soak the leaves, but I don't know what they would soak them in. Maybe water? And those would be tied to bruises or sprains or sores. So you would crush up the leaves. You would bound that around and burn or scald or a sore, and then the leaves would work their magic. Another tribe used the leaves to draw out infections. The Shoshone would do a poultice of it and apply that to wounds, swelling. Sometimes they would mash up the leaves and apply that to infections. So maybe you got an infected wound, they would apply that and make a go at it. The poultice leaves could be applied to swellings, and it was actually a disinfectant, which was pretty cool at that. I'm going to get rid of myself. I don't need to be in here right now. What what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this book, a smaller book, to no, I'm not even sure that all of these plants actually worked. Certainly, that may or may not be the case. But on the other hand, get rid of yourself. Huh? I don't remember saying that. I don't remember saying that. I don't know. But the plants, you do have to be careful with the plants because they are dangerous. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that portion of the video. I didn't mean to if I did. I'm sorry if I did. Another really amazing medicinal plant that they would have used, and a lot of tribes used it, was yarrow. Yeah. I was taking myself out of the live. Again, this book breaks the plant down by tribes. But what's interesting is even then, a lot of the plants, a lot of the tribes will use a plant for the same thing. So you see a lot of the tribes using yarrow for colds. So maybe if I were a scientist looking to study cures for plants, I might seek out yarrow as a cure for the cold. Let's see. Okay. The Cherokee used the plant to stop bleeding, so yarrow would have been applied maybe to blood to stop bleeding. You might drink a tea of it. It might be used in a deduction. Crushed leaves were placed. They would crush the leaves if you had a nosebleed, and you would stick those up into your nose, and that would help stop the bleeding. And I've heard of that before. Excuse me. So yeah, the plants were used quite a bit. Different plants. Um, Hello, everybody. Well, it may not have. I mean, gunshots can be complicated. It's more internal. Right. Well, they might be able to treat some of the pain. They might have been able to maybe help with infection. But as far as that goes, probably not a super lot. Come on. I'm trying to use a different reference for stuff. Candle thimbleweed um was used as they would make an infusion of the root and it was used to treat headaches. But a poultice of the boiled, so they would boil the root of the thimbleweed and that would be used to treat wounds. Um for what? What are we using them for? Yeah, willow is known for its pain. Um, it was used like aspirin. I really careful about you. Yeah, see, that you have to be careful with, because just using a plant for medicine, like let's look at you. If I can even find it. Texas. Because this book is done by scientific name. And so you have to know. So Pacific Yew, perspiring wash to improve general health. You can make a poultice of the ground leaves and apply that to wounds. Spruce. Yeah. PIC. Yeah, we gotta remember though, tonight we're trying to focus on just plants for colds. Or not colds, but cuts and cut related stuff. So nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. They did apply, some tribes did apply the gum from spruce and apply that to wounds. If you had an infection, they might apply the gum to infections also. But you might also have that same gum applied for other uses as well. For instance, you might chew the pitch, and I know we're mainly talking about cuts and bleeding, but you might have chewed the pitch for tuberculosis. They would have rendered that same pitch and with deer oil and used it for sores and sunburns. So lots of different uses for various different plants, depending upon what you needed it for. Definitely you didn't want to use the wrong plant for the wrong thing, because again, you could make yourself very sick. They might have. So yeah, lots of different uses for plants, and we are going to be breaking some of those stuff down. We might do a night of plants for blisters, plants for bleeding. I can't believe it's almost been an hour already. Wow. I'm gonna relax for an hour, have dinner, and then I'm going to work on other stuff. Or at least that's the plan anyway. I have not heard from any of my family on this thing. Which is, I'm surprised that I haven't. Possibly. I don't remember where predecessor was from, but I know one area, the latest they might have their power back on is the 17th. So if she did lose power, I don't think it was Sarasota. Schools are closed through Monday. I don't even know the looks like maybe 60% outage. And it still looks like it's that area around Hillsborough County. Wait, what county is Tampa, Florida in? Hillsborough County. They're at least 336,710 out. So I'm assuming that means that I don't know who her company is, but Tampa Electric has 839,997 people out. Yeah, you got to be able to get through. Some people have electric lines down. You don't want to be doing a lot with that until you can get through. So they're probably still doing cleanup. Yeah, they're saying there's still gas shortages for sure. Tampa Electric has 370,706 customers out of power. So some of these companies have a lot of people. And I don't know exactly where she's at. I don't remember. I can't tell that. No, she hasn't called dinner. So dinner is on me. But I need to eat. Oh wait, before I go, Did you see what I did with lives? No, I did hear her, but she went out they were leaving. Did you see what I did with lives? So Tuesday's live is going to be safe around bats. So the entire night we get to be batty. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Bye, guys. Have a good one. See you in the next one.